Hi and welcome along to AFTV. We are here for the starting 11 today with much anticipation. Of course, it's Southampton versus the Arsenal. And of course, we got it all covered here. We're going to be in the studio. We've got the starting 11. Later on, we got a watch along to the game, big watch along. And of course, the guys are at the game as well. Getting the opinions of the fans and that afterwards, as we'll be doing here in the studio. Let me introduce our esteemed panel, starting off with Kwame. You know, I said esteemed.
Yes, thanks for having
Kwame,
me.
great to have you back on here, mate. Dan Potts, of course, you all know Dan. And of course, Mr. Lee Judges in the building as well. We're here, of course, to look forward to the starting 11 of what is a very important game for Arsenal. You know what? I'm really, really excited by this game. First of all, just got to say thanks to NordVPN for powering this match day experience. Be invincible by scanning the QR code, right? Get that QR code, and you can get your AFTV special, which is just for the fans. And I'll tell you, that NordVPN thing's pretty. Listen, this is all off ad thing now, right? It's a pretty useful tool, yeah.
Yeah,
right. Because the trip next week over to Eindhoven, use NordVPN, save money. Because what it does, when you use a NordVPN, it makes it look like you get the local prices.
Yeah.
So, you know, like if you're over here, you'd use an app or whatever, right? It gives you the international prices. If you use a NordVPN, it gives you like the local prices, save about a couple £100. That's why you're going.
I didn't know you could do that, you know, man.
You didn't know you could do that? No, seriously, honestly, I really recommend it, right? It's
quality.
You know, it's this no ad. Just check it out, man. So the code is in the corner. If you were ever going abroad or anything like that, you can, you know, it's really, really good for that.
Cool,
brilliant.
It's a bit out of order you said that because you've told us we've got to get bikes when we go around Amsterdam.
NordVPN probably cover the bikes as well. You get at the local rate, you know what I mean?
I'm not going tandem with Julian, I'll tell you that now.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this game today. The results really went for us yesterday. When you really check it out, all right, I know Man City won, right? We'd expect that. Yeah. Chelsea and Man United drew, so they dropped points. Liverpool lost. I mean, this is a great opportunity for Arsenal. Win the game. You know, we really start. I was looking at the table earlier, right? So if we just obviously we win the game and go 4 points above Man City, but we know Man City, and then obviously Tottenham are playing later on as well against Newcastle. Not the easiest of games, right? Game. So, but Chelsea, as it stands, even before today's game, are 6 points behind us. Man United 7 points behind us. Liverpool are whopping 11 points back. If we can win the game today, I mean, it really starts to put a significant distance between us and those teams.
Yeah, in the top four, and that's why I'm nervous about this game because, like, you know. We need to win this game today.
Why are you nervous?
Well, because we need to win because other teams are
we need to win every week.
Game, yeah, well, you know, look, I'm not at this moment in time. I'm not really focusing on Man City. I don't think any of us are. Like, you know, they're expected to win, but with all these teams dropping points, this is a big game for us today because obviously Chelsea were playing Man United yesterday and Tottenham are playing Newcastle. The teams below us are all going to drop points. Vital what he done today. Vital we done.
Yeah.
What about you, Kwame?
Just as important as last week's game. I think I do share the same thing in terms of what Lee's saying about the nerves, because it's a normal thing to feel nervous, but I mean, I feel quietly confident that, you know, with the team and how we've been playing, that we can actually come there or go to St Mary's and get a result. The only thing that's in the back of my head is that usually our results at St Mary's hasn't been the best. You know, like last season I think last season, yes, but I think the previous two before that won in the league. But last season, of course, we got turned over in that little sequence of games, which actually I always look at and think it's those three that cost us the top four. Because it was like we lost to Palace. We came back after the international break, lost to Palace, lost to Brighton, and then lost to Southampton. Yeah, that was like the nail in the coffin. So I mean, we played well. We played all right. It was just down to Forster. He had the game of his life that week, or that game. So It's just a psychological thing, and like I don't want to be focusing too much on the other teams. It's more I'm looking at City, and as much as City is probably helping us in the sense that they're always going to be winning. So for the young players, it's a good thing, a good stepping stone for them to say, all right, that's the measure, that's how good we need to be, and we need to be consistent. So this game, going into this game, I'm expecting us to really perform, especially following, the Europa League and the Leeds game. We didn't play our best, so now it's time to get back on the track and actually perform.
Confidence in you for today's game?
Quietly confident, Rob. Yeah, and do you know what it is? A lot of people will say, don't worry about everyone else. Don't look at the table. You can't not, man. You can't not look what the other results are. Everybody does. You know what I'm saying? We can go 14 points ahead of Liverpool, 9 ahead of Chelsea, 10 ahead of Man United if we win today. Everyone's going to be looking at that, aren't they? No one's going to be going, don't worry about that yet. Just concentrate on what we're doing. Everybody's looking at the table. You'd be silly if you're not.
Yeah.
So I look at Manchester City as still as the favourites to win this league. But you can't not look at the table at the moment and think that Arsenal are the next best there. And I believe the way we're playing, and I know that we had a blip last weekend at Leeds, but we did the job. I think we'll definitely turn up today. Ain't going to be like last season. Last season we had about 5 or 6 players out. This is a different Arsenal. Southampton got a lot of players out, and I'm quietly confident, man.
Okay. My inner Turkish, big him up. He says, what do you guys think of the players' disciplinary? RFs being harsh with over giving cards, or is it players that need to calm down? Of course, I think there's, is it Saliba's on 4?
Yeah, he's on 4.
Gabriel's on 4.
And Gabriel's
away,
on
isn't
4, so they're both 1 away from a suspension. There are some people I heard saying last week that get the suspension now.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way because it's Nottingham Forest at home next. By the way, that's changed after yesterday. But it's Nottingham Forest at home next week, and then the week after that is Chelsea. You really want Saliba and those guys in for the Chelsea game, but
just play your game, and if you get booked, you get booked.
I agree. You can't look at it like
Yeah,
that.
when you start looking like that, you
trying to pick and choosing when you're going to get booked. Just play your normal game. If you get booked, you get booked, and that's it. I think.
Well, if they play their normal game, they probably will get booked.
That's the way all 3 of us. I look at Saliba. Saliba's been booked for every foul that he's done. Right, on a handball, which was a bit of a harsh booking, if I'll be honest. But Gabriel and Xhaka have been booked for a little bit of petulance, little silly little things, like, what I mean? Cut that out.
Is Xhaka on 4 as well?
I think he's on about 3. Like,
he's on 3, yeah.
Jesus on 4, right?
Yeah, Jesus is on 4.
Is he?
Again,
Saliba, Jesus and Gabriel.
Another one with Jesus, who's actually not, it's been done for his foul. So you have to accept that, what I mean? It's the little petulant ones, like Gabriel last week, people criticising him for I thought he had a good game last week, but he initiated that little fracas, and then he gets booked in it, like, what I mean? Don't do that. It's a silly booking.
Yeah.
Cut out the silly bookings, but at the end of the day, play for.
Remember last year we were getting reds, all the time.
Yeah.
We ain't getting that anymore. Touch wood, yeah. So for me, let's hope that it's yellow.
Might give a red card last week.
Linesman was the one who's saying to give the red, So
That's true.
Alex Smith says, greetings everyone, big up to the judges in the house. I say 2-0 today, and the girls are 2-0 up as well. Yeah, the Arsenal ladies are beating Liverpool at the moment by 2-0, so that's a good omen. Arsenal, please do the double this season. Going to win it all. That's from Dave Jordan. No, he said Premier League and WSL double this season. Well, that would be simply amazing.
That'd be amazing, mate.
But I'm saying that I understand everybody's anxiety because it has been a place where we lost last year, and then I think the year before, wasn't it? We lost there in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
When again we went there with a bit of a weakened side and we lost that game. But I'm with you, Dan. Now it's a strong team that should be going down there. It's a very confident team. And I was saying to Kwame earlier that I feel that the fact that we are at the top of the league is pushing us to maintain that. It's pushing the performances. I mean, what do you think with that? The fact that now we're the hunted, we're at the top. Everybody is I'm sure the players must be aware, as we as fans are aware, that everybody's waiting for Arsenal to crumble. I saw stats before. Everybody said, well, when it gets to October, they crumble.
Yeah.
Now I saw even the guys over on DR Sports, right? I saw them doing a thing where they said, well, when it gets to February, they crumble. Everybody's looking for us to fall apart. And again, this will be a game that people will look at because they'll say, well, last year we crumbled there, but some of the places that we crumbled at last year, we've negotiated this season already. What do you think?
We have done, and I think that's a great point there. Everyone else is looking for us to crumble, and they said, first few games, wait till they get to 10 games, well, we're there now. Now it's all of a sudden, wait till after the World Cup, wait till February, wait till the group stages come out of it. keep pushing it along, man, because this is great.
Yeah.
And I think what's changed, Rob, is not just the player development in terms of on the pitch. The mentality's changed for me. Like, I've really seen hungry players that are willing to prove everybody wrong, and at the moment, that's what they're doing. And I just feel that mentality has been so impressive for me. And I'm talking about some young people here, young players like Saka. Martinelli's been exceptional this year for me, unbelievable. And I think we're now starting to see who the leaders are on that pitch. I don't really know over the last 5, maybe 10 years, we've had that leadership on the pitch. I've seen 3 or 4 leaders on that pitch now. You know, some of them experienced players, some of them younger. And for me, man, I'm loving it every minute of it at the moment. And the mentality is hungry, man, and long may it continue for me.
Yeah, TFL, this guy here, the Football Library says Arsenal have won every game since the pre-season, bar one. He goes, it's madness.
It is.
And it's all about just keeping that run going, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's about that consistency. But following on what Dan said, it's people don't give, and I even done a video on one of my TikToks, and I said, people keep pushing the goalposts. People are not giving us the flowers. If this was any other team, if this was your Chelsea, your Man United, your Spurs, whatever, they'll be going crazy about them. Oh, this is a really good team. We can see them going all the way. Now, I'm not getting ahead of myself and saying, you know what, we're going to win the league. But the form that we are showing, the fact that we, you know, like, what is it, 9 games, opening 9 games is like the best that we've done so far. Our away record in terms of conceding goals, we've only conceded about 3 away from home. Everything in all aspects, we've gone above and beyond. Arteta's done so well, so I think it's time for us to go with that confidence. Even for me, I have to talk myself into it and say, you know what, no, stop thinking that, oh yeah, we're going to go into this game against Southampton or these, you know, these middle teams and think that we're not going to do well. We have to go with that confidence, and I just think the young players, they're doing really well, man.
I was showing an article that I saw. I think it was in the Telegraph, right, Lee. That was I found really interesting reading today, right? Where it said, I think the article said that Arsenal have dribbled their way to the top of the league, right? Right? Bear with me, right? Now, when I read the article, what was really interesting about it, the guy in the article was saying that if you look at Arsenal this season, last season and this season, last season they were 17th when it came to dribbles by players, yeah? Overall in the team. This season, they're number 1. They're first in it, right? And what the guy who did the article was pointing out, he was saying that Arsenal at the moment, right, he goes, they've got 3 players up front and they're all excellent dribblers of the ball. They take people on, right? So you've got Saka on the right, on the left-hand side you've got Martinelli, and then down the middle you've got Jesus. All 3 of them will pick the ball up and drive at defences, which means if, say, Saka gets it on the right, you've got to deploy at least 2 people. You can't leave him one-on-one with a defender. You've got to get at least 2, sometimes 3 over there. Same with over on the other side, Martinelli. Same with when Jesus gets it. So what they're doing is they're freeing up lots of space
for other people,
for people like Partey, Odegaard, all these, you know, Xhaka, you know. And that is why all of a sudden they're a different proposition. And in the article, they was talking about how last season, you've got Aubameyang who wants the ball in front of him so that he can run onto a chance, right? You've got Lacazette who wanted the ball deep. Ball's got to come deep, you know, he always dropped deep to get the ball, and he's not a player to take people on. So we were 17th in that last year, first this year. And you do see that that's made a huge difference in the attacking style of Arsenal.
Massive.
Where there's a lot of spaces.
Massive. And while I agree with that, I still think that the main ingredient is that pre-season. We had a proper pre-season, you know what I mean? Like, we weren't mix and match, we knew exactly what we was doing, and they've been able to work on these things. Like that front 3 have been able to work with each other all that time during the summer about doing this. And you are right, they do take players on. That's the first thing they look to do, by the way, is when they get the ball is be positive. If it don't work, then they shift it. And what Arsenal have done really well over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 games, or how long it is now, is they mix it up well. They play quick football, then they go to that side of it all there. Like, the only thing that's been missing for the last couple of games has been our finishing. You know, Jesus has missed a few chances. Looking back on I don't know, you know, it's a funny game. I had a little look back on the highlights yesterday. You know, we totally dominated that game against PSV. It was unbelievable. I haven't seen Arsenal. I have not seen Arsenal dominate teams.
Yeah, and remember that's a rated team.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so we're
dominating. You know, one of them teams like dominating their league.
Went to Brentford and just dominated them, like with not by overpowering, but just by keeping the ball. So you know, I do think teams are wary. Of you know, if you push too high now, this front three can kill you, like, you know. And so if they drop off deep, then it gives the players in midfield that bit of space as well. So it is going well. But like today, if we get chances, you know what I mean, like, we've got to take them.
Because I remember last year we had a lot of chances against Southampton.
And we didn't.
Fraser Forster did play well, but
game of his life. But
but there was a lot of chances.
Got to move to Spurs on the back of that.
He did. He hasn't played a game. Mark T says, when a player or a couple of players are not performing, there's always seems to be many more who step up to the plate. We're all in this together, and there is a togetherness, isn't there?
100%, man. I think that stat was mad what you just read out. And the reason I believe that it's there now is because of Jesus, if I'm honest with you. I think what he's done is he's basically done what Lacazette and Aubameyang could do strength-wise in a combined player. So you've got Aubameyang's, what he does good, Jesus can do. Lacazette can link up play and hold up the ball, so can Jesus. And I kind of I've always said I wanted them two together or morphed into one player, and I think we've got that now with Jesus. I really do. I always felt that Aubameyang and Lacazette complemented each other, but when they weren't playing together, it was one or the other. Well, I think we've got both now with Jesus. And I think this is a team at the moment, what we're seeing. You know, we've had individuals before, haven't we? We've had one or two weaknesses. This is a proper team, this first 11. And it's crazy because I read a stat, I think I spoke to James last time. Apart from Aaron Ramsdale, in the first team, every player has either scored or assisted a goal so far this season. That is mad.
That's mad. That's mad.
Crazy.
If ever you wanted to say that's a team, that's it. That's a team.
That used to be our biggest problem, is scoring goals, getting the ball in the back of the net. But you look at our past results, how we've been scoring 3. I mean, obviously, United game wasn't the best for us, but the goals per ratio is gone up dramatically. And yeah, like Dan said, it is down to having players like Gabriel Jesus, and he can hold it up, but then he can also dribble just as good as Saka and Martinelli. And I think that's what gets the defenders, because they don't know what to do. They don't know if to press high with him or to drop off and give him space, because he's so good on the ball.
But he needs to start scoring more goals.
That's the one thing that we have to say.
And that's not a criticism of him. He's been fantastic for us. But if Arsenal are going to go and push towards Man City, or they're going to push towards top 4, he needs to get a few more goals. I'm hoping to that. I'm backing him all the time. I'm having bets with him. He's going to get a hat-trick. He's going to get a hat-trick.
That's what you're saying today. Hat-trick today.
Well, yeah. Why not? I honestly think I know it sounds. I'm not being arrogant on anything. He will get a hat-trick in the next few, because he's creating the chances. He's getting assisted by some good chances. He will take them, everyone. I remember the game against Spurs. If it weren't for Lloris, Lloris made a couple of good saves on him, and then then he makes the mistake that does it. Every game that he's been getting good,
goals will come.
And I think that they will. And I just think that if they do, you know, I honestly think, I'm going to say this now, we're going to blow a team away somewhere along the line.
Yep, let's hope it's today. I was trying to find some stats that I had about Southampton.
Well, you turning into James?
Statman.
Apart from James always has them ready. You know, I can't find mine. But it was sort of talking about their defensively. They ain't been great this season, Southampton.
No.
They are a defence that can be got at.
Yeah, particularly down the right-hand side today. They've got no Kyle Walker-Peters. They've got no... what's his name? Bella Kotchap at the back.
He's discolored his shoulder, didn't he?
And no Maitland-Niles, because obviously he's our player. So them 3 players out means Martinelli's going to have a brilliant time today. I'm feeling it. I am. Because that right-hand side, you know, I was speaking to a Southampton fan who thinks they might have to play James Ward-Prowse there. So, you know, that's going to weaken their midfield if they do that. So for me, defensively they can be got at, and I think this is a time for Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka today.
Yeah, this was the stat I was looking for. Thank you, Harvey. Right, Southampton have kept just 1 clean sheet in their last 11 Premier League home games. They've conceded 21 goals. They have, although that last clean sheet was against us when they beat us 1-0 in April. But as we said, it's a different.
Thanks for that, Harvey.
Yeah, cheers.
It is a different Arsenal team now, and no side has kept fewer clean sheets in the Premier League this season than Southampton. While Arsenal are so far the only side to have scored in every game. So you know, when you look at that.
The favour's in our hands, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's in our hands at the end of the day. Like we're the stronger side. They've got a lot of injuries, but again, you do have to be wary on the day because anyone.
They won during the week.
Yeah. This is the thing. They
That's
won
a
at
good
Bournemouth.
result, by the way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
Really good.
Bournemouth,
were thinking they were going to lose away to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
They won that
Yeah,
game.
Che Adams got a
Rode
good
their
header.
luck a bit in
They
that
did,
game,
they
but
did.
they got a victory, a much needed victory. So
Draw against
they'll be-
West Ham as well. I know
Yeah.
West Ham ain't been great, to be fair. But
Yeah.
feeling a lot better about themselves right now, aren't they?
yeah, 100. You know, they're a team that can be got at, without a doubt. But I think their injuries will affect them today, and I'm hoping that if we turn up, we'll get the job done, man. That's what I'm hoping. That's why I'm quietly confident.
Would you change anything about the teams today?
I'll bring Kieran Tierney in at left back. That'll be it. Everything else stays the same for me. I don't think you can change much at the moment. I think with Tommy Asu, it was tactical against Liverpool. I don't think it was against Leeds. It didn't work for me. I thought he was poor. You know, I think he got 4 out of 10 in the ratings. He was terrible parts. Most of that back line was, to be honest. For me, Kieran Tierney comes back in at left back. I don't think he's done much wrong. Yeah, of course, Zinchenko. I don't know if he's fit. I ain't got a clue. I've not heard.
Arteta's keeping his
keeping it
So
quiet.
I'd give it to Tierney today. The rest of the team stays the same for me, man. I'm liking it.
Just
at the moment.
arrived. Look.
just coming in. Now.
Okay.
See if we can see him.
You make any changes? Well, Saka's there. Saka's arrived.
I'm with Dan. I'll play Tierney. I just think the one thing that we lacked a little bit against Leeds was balance. We had more possession against Leeds, and we had more possession today. Against Liverpool, it was a 50-50 possession-based game. And Tommy Asu was sensational in that game. I actually do think that he was that good in that game that
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's why he
maybe
started.
Mikel said,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start him again.
100%.
So I would be shocked, but not surprised if he is playing. But I think that for me, Tierney comes back.
Tommy Asu come off, didn't he, midweek? That to me says that he's probably going to play left
gonna
back today.
start him again,
Tierney
yeah.
played 90 minutes. And the last time that suggested he was going to play, and it did happen. But
And Tierney had a good game.
I really like him.
Had a fantastic
Really like
Yeah,
him.
I think I'd like to see Tierney start.
Yeah. I think they asked him a question. They asked Arteta a question in terms of, you know, the fact that we've got 3 options now, and, you know, how do you keep him happy? And he was just like, look, at the end of the day, we're playing different opponents. So as Lee said, and Dan
Got a game
pointed
during
out,
the week, remember,
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, we've got games coming thick and fast. So it's about choosing the right personnel. But for me personally, I think Tierney would be a good fit for today's game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think he's deserved it, his last performance. And I'm sure Tommy Asu is not going to be sitting on the sidelines crying. He's just going to be waiting for his turn, which is what you want. You want that competitiveness. You want to be
off
like,
down the tunnel.
I want once
Couple
I get
minutes
on.
before the end of the game.
Not like
Cussing in Japanese, you know.
Ignoring the fans.
Not like Ronaldo, yeah, man.
Cussing in Japanese, walking down straight down the tunnel. You know what I mean? How comes I didn't get on?
Get his black belt out. At the end of it, Mikel, you're on. You're in. Left back this week. Where do you want to play next week?
Alexander Norp says, what's your opinion on the women's game versus Liverpool? Well, of course, the women are winning 2-0 at the moment. It is a shame that these women's games will be like they're on at
early,
the
isn't
same
it?
time,
Yeah.
literally, as
Frustrating.
you know. It is a bit frustrating that you can't
Hopefully it
couldn't
changes.
they have not done that game the day before so that we can go and support those games more and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Playing really well though. By the way, I've got to say, the midweek Champions League game, 5-1 in Lyon.
unbelievable against
Unbelievable.
Lyon. That's the equivalent of beating Real Madrid 5-1
Yeah.
away. I mean, Lyon are serial winners of the
Champions League, the winners of it.
Yeah,
the holders.
they're the best team in Europe at the moment, and they literally took them apart. That was
Right, the floor of them.
so impressive by the women. AFC Max says, "Hey fellas, another win today will be great considering teams." And he goes, cough. Chelsea, Man United drop points, and good to see you all here. He's going 3-0 to the Arsenal. I'm going to get your predictions once we see what the team is. We should know in about the next 3 minutes. Somebody says, I don't know if he's winding me up. Zeno one up. He says, I'm at the stadium and Zinchenko is here. So
What, in the stands or like that?
by the way, I met some. I was over at this YouTube event in Valencia during the week, and I met these fans from. There were some creators actually, and they were from the Ukraine. Okay. Really bigging up, the Ukrainian players, of course, in Zinchenko, and saying, that.
Highly,
They're sort of like Arsenal followers now because Zinchenko is at Arsenal,
Yes.
Another player is going to be very vital today, I'm sure is going to start, is going to be Saka. No player has been involved in more Premier League goals for Arsenal this season than Saka.
I think it's 8, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 8 assists or something.
Top player, you know what I mean? And there's certain people in this building that wanted somebody else, a Spurs player, in front of him, like, you know what I mean? So
Who was that?
Who's that?
bloody Turkish, wasn't it, like, you know what I mean?
No way. Turkish.
Oh, that time when we did the super fan
I'm not forgive. I have actually not spoken to him since, like, you know what I mean? We are not on talking terms. He's giving me evil looks at the moment. I'm not scared of him, Robbie. I'm not.
I like that.
Saka is the main man, like.
I
you know
like
what I
that
mean?
comment on the Forever Arsenal, where they were comparing you guys to different players.
Yeah.
Right, and they compared Xhaka to Turkish.
Yeah.
Based off of the fact, now this is how the comparison comes in. The person said we used to hate him, but now we love him. Xhaka, that's like Turkish.
Wow.
He's turned it around, old Turkish.
He's turned it around, no, but not with you.
No. We've actually officially fallen out until he comes up to me at some stage and goes, Lee, I was wrong about Saka. He's not come up and said it yet.
He said he'd have, was it Kulusevski you'd have in front of Saka?
Yeah.
Was it Kulusevski, he said?
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Turkish.
yeah.
I'm a bit worried about Turkish, you know what I mean?
Right, just waiting for the team to come out. Oh, the team is out.
Yeah.
So here's the team. This is the starting 11
Oh, here we go, here we go.
Arsenal today. In goal, Aaron Ramsdale, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel and Tomiyasu. Right, so it's not Tierney. Partey, Xhaka, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli and Jesus. That's literally full strength. And then on the bench is Turner, Tierney, Nketiah, Holding, Cedric, Vieira, Lokonga, Nelson and Marquinhos. That guy said he spotted Zinchenko at the ground. Was a wind-up.
You a liar.
The Southampton team is Bazuna, Lianco, Kalatakar,
Well said.
Saliso, Perode, Edelusi, Diallo, Ward-Prowse, Armstrong, Aribo and the other Armstrong. And on the bench is McCarthy, Shea Adams, Mara, Gineppo, Edozie, Larios, Walcott, still there, remember, Finnegan and Payne. That is the team, but let's get your instant reactions on it. Let's go to you. You wanted Kieran Tierney to start. He's not starting. It is Tomiyasu starting.
You can see you're not happy about that. Try and not show it, but like, you know.
I just worry for Kieran Tierney, man. I just don't get what it is now. Is he third choice left back now?
I think they're just trying not to rush him back
What's the
because
worry?
he's injury prone.
You're managing the guy, innit?
Yeah.
Managing him from what though?
Last season, you'd be there saying, "Why are we playing Tierney again? He played during the week."
No.
Right? They're managing him.
No. For me, I think when Kieran Tierney so he's now the Europa League lad. That's basically what we're saying.
I don't think
I
so.
think it's just. I really do think it's. And he.
What's he done wrong? What's he done wrong that Tomiyasu's done?
It's
He's
not
played
that-
more games than Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu's been injured as well. So why are we not managing Tomiyasu?
Because it's
Maybe I don't know.
And I'll tell you another thing. One of
weird,
our
man.
best performances this season, I think, away from home was one when I was really, really impressed with. Was the Brentford performance. We was fantastic. Kieran Tierney was left back that day.
Yeah.
it's true.
So I think, you know,
don't know, man.
I
I like
agree
Tomiyasu.
with what Dan's saying. What has he done wrong to be dropped?
I don't get it. That's
And
all I
left
don't
out.
get. What's he done
There
wrong?
must
Is he
be
not good enough
something.
now?
No, I don't think it's not good enough. There must be something to do with his fitness.
I think they're managing him. I really do think they're managing him. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of games. It's something that really doesn't bother me. Honest to God,
At
it doesn't.
least-
It doesn't bother me in terms
Right.
of Tomiyasu because I like Tomiyasu, right? I like Tomiyasu. I think he's quality. Got a lot of time for him. I just don't know where this leaves Kieran Tierney personally.
Are you worried that he's
do
gonna
you mean
maybe
if we're
think
worried?
about leaving or something? Or
Well, if I said to you, you're behind Zinchenko and Tomiyasu now, are you going to stay at Arsenal or not?
No, but is he? Are you? You're not even sure he is behind them. It could be just at the
Well,
moment. They're
3
just
games in,
managing
it
the
looks like he is.
I'm gonna fight
just
for my
managing
place
the
though.
situation.
I thought it was-
I think my thing is this: when you're at a big club, I'm sorry, you got to earn your place. You got to work for your place. No place is a given.
I agree. And when that scenario comes into it, when you're playing up against Zinchenko, I agree with that because he's a left side player. But now you're bringing in a right back into left back.
He done very well.
He's
and
good
I disagreed when you said 4 out of 10 for last week. I mean, I don't know who gave that. I was at the game, right? And
he went 4 out of 10.
And
Would you go? Give him 5.
I thought whilst he did,
I didn't give him a 4,
whilst
by the
he
way.
did have
That's
a
all
great
right.
game going forward on Tomiyasu, what he did do really well was like when our backs were against the wall.
he can defend.
I mean, he
got
just
busy.
pure defending.
Yeah,
But I think
you
you're
know, he got-
missing my point. Don't slag off Tomiyasu here. I think he's quality. Love him. It's one of my favourites, right? But I look at it and I think, if I'm Kieran Tierney, I'm getting my European game, and I'm trying to fight for my place. Zinchenko's coming in, and I'm thinking, I've got to get ahead of him. Now I've got to get ahead of the right back as well.
Welcome to the big club.
This is how it is,
Yeah, but
though.
I get that, and I love that in terms of competition. But is it fair at the moment to leave Kieran Tierney out? Is that fair? That's all I'm saying. It might be. You might think he's no good.
You know, he
I
could.
think Anthony Tomiyasu.
It is-
Ronaldo in disguise.
It is a difficult one.
You know what I'm saying?
I do agree with what Dan said. If I'm Kieran Tierney, I'd be a little bit. But there is in the back of my mind, and we spoke about this.
All right, well, wait a minute. No, let me twist it back the other way. So how does Tomiyasu feel then that Ben White has come in and took his place?
Well, because he was injured.
Yeah, and Ben White's come in, but Ben
and
White
played really well.
Ben White is not a right back, right? He's not a right back, is he? And Ben White has come in, and Ben White has literally took that position.
So let me say this then.
Well, 1 second. He's took that position. He played there all season, right? And Tomiyasu hasn't stopped. What about Cedric? Cedric's seen.
Well, we've got to be
Cedric's
patient
now
with it.
seen two-
That's a different
exactly.
thing.
You're
No,
a
no,
big
so-
club, so
so
why
Tomiyasu
is there any difference to Tierney?
Tomiyasu has not played a Premier League game, right, this season at right back. All right, Kieran Tierney has played Premier
And he
League
ain't
game.
moaned, does he?
Well, you don't know that. Can you speak
Doesn't look
Japanese?
doesn't look like he's moaned, does it? Do you get the vibe
No,
that
I
he's
don't.
moaned?
Of course you ain't. But
I mean,
he's-
we keep
he-
hearing
he-
we keep
he
hearing
hasn't
behind the
really-
scenes.
He's been injured. He was
Behind the scenes,
beginning of the
they're all in
season,
it
he was
together.
injured, Rob.
You guys even just said it yourself. Behind the scenes, they're saying they're all in it together. They're all a great togetherness, right?
Beginning of the season,
What's
he
the
was
problem?
injured.
I'm like, listen, Tomiyasu's had to suck up the same situation.
Yeah. I think it's fair on all sides. I think it's a thing where Arteta, and if you listen to him this week, he was saying, look, I want the players to be knocking on my door. I want them to be ruthless. And he wants to create that whole mentality within the squad where if one is not available, the other one can fit in. And it doesn't matter if it's not in your ideal position. You are ready to go.
That's a great point.
And I think that's the most
He
important thing.
has. That is a fantastic point. That he has got, and he has brought players that can play multiple positions.
That's it.
Okay.
So they can play that. Like Ben White, obviously can
Yeah,
play right
versatility is
back.
key. Absolutely.
Versatility
100%.
is key.
No,
But,
it is.
you know,
Sorry, I'm just going to get into a couple of super
Go
chats
on,
here.
go
But
on,
I'm sorry
Rob.
to jump in, guys. London Nomad says, hopefully a win today. I hope we get Saka, Saliba, and Martinelli's contracts sorted as soon as possible.
Yeah, sounds
it's a bit
Gabriel's
concerning.
one, by the way, come out of the blue, didn't he?
Yeah, he's one sorted. AFC Max says, Dan, I don't want to slam you. Because I like you as a content creator. Here it comes. But he goes, I have said this since the injuries. Tierney is overlapping left back, whereas Tomiyasu and Zinchenko come into midfield and shifts back in to help the back three respectively. So that's why he's giving his the reason why.
No, I get that, and I agree with that. That is true. There's factual. They're different types of players.
Okay.
And Ben White overlaps Saka, so that's why they're going with Tomiyasu. I get it. I understand it all. I just feel personally like Tomiyasu's going, am I going to fight for my place at right back? Yeah, no, don't worry, because I'll stick you at left back. So don't worry about Tierney. That's what it looks like to me from the outside looking in.
Sam says, James made a point midweek that Southampton play a lot of cross balls and switch sides, so Tommy would be a great fit and for a way they play, and we know that he's good at winning headers, brilliant at winning headers.
He is brilliant.
So
I don't think any of us are slating Tomiyasu.
No,
That's the difference.
no.
I think
This app
people are
says
getting this wrong.
a fit Tierney is a top 2 left back in the league, Rob. He needs to start.
100%.
We haven't seen him consistently for so long, we forget his quality. Tommy should be at right back. By the way, I love Kieran Tierney as well.
Yeah.
Warren Hussein,
I'm not hearing this from you.
I
Fred.
love Kieran Tierney as well, but it's about competition.
Yeah.
Cristiano, you know what I mean? Right? Comment of the week says, if Kieran Tierney was as good as Potsy thinks, thinks,
I get that a lot. I love
yeah,
he would be
alright.
playing
Potsy's
like Saliba. He says, Kieran
what I mean,
Tierney, don't stop talking about how homesick he is all the time. Get him to Newcastle.
I honestly think you're right as
so
well.
much
Like, he's had
disrespect.
injuries.
I get this.
He's had a lot of injuries. He's like,
So's Tommy.
no. But
not as
look,
many as Tierney,
Kieran's had. I think
Manage
at the
him.
end of the day, he's still managing him.
Manage him, man. Manage
It's
the
a
guy.
long
I mean, it's
season.
a long season.
Just 10 games in. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
manage him.
His time will come. And
He will play Thursday anyway.
Yeah,
whatever happens.
just like how he's come in and he's slotted in and he's played excellent, he'll do exactly the same. And if you
Maybe
wanna
I
play,
just like him too much and you three ain't feeling it, that's all.
No,
maybe you do.
Listen, we love Kieran Tierney, right? We
I
love
love him,
Kieran
man.
Tierney.
I love him.
We
I
love
think
all
he's
of
got
them,
All
a-
I'm
yeah.
saying is I feel they're managing him. And there's games he'll play during the week. He might even play. He might not even play during the week and play against Forest. We don't know, but I do think they're managing him.
and it's
Well, that's the only reason I
if
can
we
think.
overplay him now, we're all the first ones to jump on it
why
and
are
say,
you
"Oh,
playing him?
why,
And he's got
why?"
injured now. This,
You know, now he's out again.
at least we're
Look at he's out again. Bloody hell.
That
Don't
must be
forget,
what
he
it
ain't
is,
got the
man.
World
There's
Cup to
nothing
go
else.
to neither, is he? So he can
he's
keep
got no
himself
World
fit.
Cup.
Name
Tommy
says
Asu has the
Arteta
same.
likes one attacking fullback and one defensive. White at the moment is unplayable going forward. Arteta chooses Tommy as the defensive fullback. White is keeping KT out, he's saying, because again, you're making that point that how White drops in and helps out with
Well,
the
I tell you
defence.
what would be really interesting if either Gabriel or Saliba get
injured.
or get suspended.
Oh yeah.
What does he do then? Because the obvious thing is to
White will
put,
come in,
or
and
does he
Tommy
bring
Asu
Rob
will
Holding in? And that means, you know, like it would obviously put Ben White there. Tommy Asu would go right back,
That's
Tierney
what
would go
Rob
left.
Holding's
Think
done.
back.
about like Holding as well. He's had to
So
wait.
you know,
Yeah,
this, but you know, I just, you know, there's still more twists and turns as far as
It's a great thing because it's competition for places.
Yeah.
We all want this, right? But maybe I'm just a little bit biased because I love Tierney. Maybe that's what it is, man.
Lewis B says, "Tell Dan to shush, please." And
him
Pascal
alone.
says, "Sounds like we're creating something to talk about." Shows how good the team is.
No, it is.
Let me run through the team again because we're going to wrap it up in a minute. Ramsdale in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Tommy Asu. Dan, Partey, Xhaka,
like Tommy Asu, man.
Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Jesus. And on the bench is Turner, Tierney, Nketiah, Holding, Cedric, Vieira, Lokonga, Nelson, and Marquinhos. That is the bench for today.
No Zinchenko.
No Zinchenko still.
Not really.
Oh, sorry, I did that one by Pascal. We're going to wrap it up right now. Listen, thanks as Mikel Arteta's on the screen being interviewed there at the St Mary's Stadium. Big game today. Don't forget, the guys are going to be down there, right? So they're going to, if you are going to the game, make sure you check them out after the game. Cecil's there. James is there today as well. We let him out, right? So James is there, right?
Let him out.
We let him out today. We let James out, right? You know what I mean? So James is going to be down there. So make sure you check those guys out. But massive game. We're going to be doing a watch-along coming up to it very, very soon. We're going to have the halftime show with Turkish is in the building. Turkish is also doing a full-time show today as well. And don't forget to check out NordVPN, keeping us invincible by powering this match day experience. You can scan the QR code and make yourself some big savings. Thank you very much, Lee.
No problems. Enjoy
Thank
that.
you very much to you, Kwame.
Thank you, Robbie.
Cristiano,
Thank you,
cheers, mate. And we'll see you back very soon. Check this out. Arsenal playing over in the Netherlands against PSV Eindhoven, and I needed to book hotel and accommodation for me and the lads. I used my NordVPN and I saved over £400. Why book things internationally when you can book them locally by using NordVPN? Use your head.
Does that mean we get an extra day in Amsterdam?
No, it don't mean we get an extra day in Amsterdam. Oh well. Click the link to be invincible.